Welcome my friends, Seven Gray here. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Today I am in Orlando. I'm in Florida, that's right, just like that. From Arizona to Florida. I flew here yesterday evening, arrived about 7:30 at night. Bumpy ride coming in because it's been raining the past few days here and it just is clearing up today. Let me explain why I'm in Florida. So I have a rental car here. You can see it's all right. And you can see this nice lake in the background, the trees. This is Orlando. This is what it's like. I lived here for a while. Oh, probably about 4 years ago when I bought rental properties here, which is part of the reason I'm here in Florida today. So why am I in Florida today? Well, actually two reasons. One, I own rental properties here between Orlando and Tampa. There's a small city named Lakeland. And so I own 3 properties down there. So I'm going to be meeting with my property manager, doing walkthroughs, checking out the properties, make sure everything looks good, meet with him, talk about some things that I want to do this next year and get recommendations from the property manager. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is I'm changing my residency from Texas to Florida. For me, it makes sense on a number of levels. One, I have properties here, so it makes sense to put this as my home base and residency. And reason number 2, and probably the more impactful reason for me, is Obamacare, the ACA. I recently discovered that Florida is the only state that you can get insurance through Obamacare that is nationwide coverage. That means that in all of the continental states, maybe even Hawaii and Alaska, I don't know, you can have coverage for the same plan. One of the problems and challenges I've had in the past is when I get insurance in that state, for instance, Texas, and I have a health issue, I have to drive back from Texas, wherever I'm at, to get treatment for it, unless it's an emergency like a broken leg or a ruptured spleen or something like that. Everything else, like I had a scratched cornea, drive all the way back to Texas to get treatment. So this way, with this new plan, which is through Florida Blue, which is a division of Blue Cross Blue Shield, if I need to go in for a scratched cornea or whatever, I don't have to drive all the way back to Florida. I can get treatment wherever I'm at. If I'm up in Utah, if I'm in Colorado, Arizona, or wherever I happen to be traveling, I can go to a local Blue Cross Blue Shield and get treatment. That's a huge thing for me. So today I am headed to the Department of Motor Vehicles to get my driver's license, which gives me residency here in Florida. So I'm driving from Orlando over to nearby DMV, get my driver's license, get Florida residency set up, and then I'll be going down to Lakeland tomorrow or the next day and meeting with my property manager and inspecting my properties. Well, I've arrived at the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, and I just need to go in, get my driver's license. Interesting thing, they've changed in the last 2 years since I was here. They now have an online scheduling thing. So I had to go online, schedule an appointment for 2 o'clock this afternoon, but I only had an option of choosing driver's license or vehicle registration, so I chose driver's license. I don't know if I'll be able to get both of those done today or whether I have to do a separate appointment. Maybe it's a different location, but I'm going to try for both and leave the camera here in the car and go inside and see what happens. This is the DMV over here. You can see I'm going to be going in there, try to get everything taken care of. Well, I just came out of the DMV and you will not believe what just happened. In fact, I'm still a little bit in shock. Okay, they said they could do the registration and driver's license both at this location, both at this appointment. They looked through all the documents and they said that my VIN ID verification was not valid here in Florida, that I needed to use their form. What I had done was in Arizona, where the vehicle is right now, where the step van's parked, I had gone into the Arizona Department of Transportation and got a VIN ID check, and I brought that here to Florida. They said they could not take that. It had to be done on the Florida form I could do it in Arizona, but it had to be done on the Florida form. And then I have to come back in person to the office here in Florida to register the vehicle. So, no go on the vehicle registration during this trip in Florida, which tremendously screws things up for me in getting the vehicle registered, meaning I have to fly back here to Florida again in the future, or drive the step van down here or something like that. So that's up in the air. So I went from the front counter into the back to get the driver's license. Everything looked great. She brought it up on the computer and she said, oh, there's a problem. She said that the state of Colorado has a stop on me being able to register for a driver's license. I don't know what that is. She said it could be a warrant for my arrest. It could be a outstanding ticket. It could be any number of issues. I have no idea. I haven't had a ticket for probably over 10 years. I think the last time I had a ticket was in Nevada years and years and years ago. No parking violations that I'm aware of. Nothing else. I have no clue why Colorado would be putting a hold on my license. So I still have a valid Texas license. I can still drive the vehicle. But I have to call to Colorado and find out why they're putting a hold on it. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a Florida driver's license while I'm down here, or whether I'll just have to stay in Texas. And if so, how that's going to affect me registering and paying for healthcare insurance in Florida. So it's all a mixed up, crazy situation. I'll just have to make some phone calls and figure out what I'm gonna do. Well, this is pretty boring. I've been sitting here on hold with Colorado DMV for 52 minutes in their automated system, waiting to speak with someone. Let me show you what I'm looking at. It's the most boring hour that I've had in a long time. Here you can see it's been 52 minutes right now. This is just, I don't know, a little crazy. And now I'm hitting 1 hour 30 minutes, an hour and a half. That's a pretty crazy long wait to speak with the DMV. And now we're hitting the 2-hour mark on hold with Colorado DMV. Well, we're now hitting 2.5 hours. I'm a fairly patient guy, but 2.5 hours on hold is starting to push me to boredom and wondering if this is ever going to result in a person answering the phone. We'll wait a little bit longer, but I think probably at 3 hours I'll end up calling it and just have to figure out what I'm going to do from there. Well, it is now 5 o'clock here. I'm still on hold with the DMV. This is 2 hours and 52 minutes. I think that's about as long as I can stand holding. I'm a patient guy, but that's right at 3 hours. So I'm gonna push the button and hang up. Here we go. So, I'm not sure what to do. What would you do? I mean, I can't get a license here in Florida until whatever this is resolved with Colorado DMV. They're putting a block on me getting the license. I have no idea why. They said it could be a warrant. I don't think so. I haven't had any traffic violations in at least 10 years. No parking violations that I know of. No tolls. No nothing that I can think of that would cause me to get flagged like this. So I haven't a clue. And they're not answering the phone. The only thing I can think of to do is to drive out to Colorado and personally go to a DMV office in Colorado. That seems extreme. So I ask you, what would you do in this situation? If you happen to work with Colorado DMV, please give me some advice. I'd love to hear from you. So that's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moments, even if some of those moments are a little bit sour. And I'll see you in the next episode.